So if I were to ask you, how much did veganism matter? Veganism as an idea or veganism as a movement to us getting together, to us meeting each other, or you choosing me, or why you're living with me now in the middle of nowhere in China, on the border between China and Myanmar? Like, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does veganism have to do with it?
I think I would say it has a lot to do with it because I first saw your video on the vegan subreddit.
Oh.
Yeah, it was why protest won't change the world.
And were a bunch of people saying that I was a scumbag in the comments or anything, or no? Was it like really negative comments?
No, there were hardly any comments. It was like on the second or third page because obviously like the first page is always about food. And
I see. Okay, right. So, but it was actually a video of me talking about the relative ineffectiveness of street protests. It was that genre. Okay, cool. Oh, I didn't actually know that because that was the first. I mean, you've mentioned discovering my channel, but I didn't know that was the hook for your first video.
Yeah, but then of course, you know, my first email to you was about the rap music in your videos, so that played a role.
Yep. She sent me a 100% respectable email with nothing flirtatious about it, but I still picked up on the vibe. There was this sub-basement of animal attraction somehow visible through the foundations of respectable discourse on what rap music did you listen to? Yeah. So the fact that I mean, again, I always tell people to keep it real on YouTube. My including rap music in my videos and talking about my life is just part of keeping it real for me. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've got to tell you, I don't think of this relationship as being for the movement or something. Like, I don't think I'm dating you for the future of the movement, which is conceivable. You can imagine being in that kind of relationship, maybe in that kind of movement.
Right.
Veganism barely exists as a movement in 2017. I'm dating the president or the CEO of PETA or something, and doing it for the movement. I can imagine somebody is in that situation, right?
Yeah.
But from my perspective, it's not that important. It's just wondering how do you? I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'll say this. I think back when you were selling this to your parents, when you were explaining to your parents, because your parents were just freaked out by you moving to China, period.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they were slightly freaked out by me in particular. But if it had been some other guy in China, they still would have been freaked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think in terms of how you explain it to your parents, the movement and veganism, that was a big part of it from your perspective at that time, right?
Yeah, but I also told them how much I admired that you had learned so many languages and that you really cared about ethnic minorities and that kind of thing.
So there were other kind of ethical and political elements to it.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a running gag in this relationship here in China because we keep going to the market, we keep going to different public places where they're just hanging carcasses of animals, where there's half a pig or a whole pig or pieces of animal.
Man, it's so tempting.
Yeah, this is a running gag, and one of the other us will say, "Oh, I just don't know if I can stay vegan with this, enticing sight of like chopped up chicken feet or like a whole pig's decapitated head,
Yeah, just an entire liver.
Yeah,
and
the
hook.
The smell of the blood and everything. Yeah. You're not far removed from it here. But yeah, it's a funny thing. Like, in some ways, China and Chinese as a language has a positive connection to veganism that English doesn't have and German doesn't have and everything else. And in some ways, we really feel like an island of two people here. We'd be tight together anyway, but we're bound even more tightly together because we're vegan in a sea of meat eaters and all that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We have like 5 options, maybe,
right?
When we go out.
Yeah. But I guess that would be true if we were like in Detroit. I mean, correct me wrong, but if you're two vegans dating in Detroit, in the same sense, you'd have this feeling of being part of a smaller world within Detroit, right? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess it does kind of shape the relationship, like in terms of the dating problem. We never really dated.
Yeah, right.
This was super high commitment, like from the moment you got off the airplane, which I'm totally fine with. I've commented that many times. But it's not like when you were here. It's not like we were going out on dates, like, and you were thinking in your head, will I or will I not commit to this guy?
Yeah, right.
It was already like way, way past that point. But still, in that sense, veganism shapes our daily lives and how we spend time together. and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, veganism does shape the media I consume, with the one big exception being Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Obviously, it doesn't for most people. So yeah, I guess the moral of the story is that you never would have found me or met me or fallen in love with me if it wasn't for veganism.
Right.
But it doesn't feel day to day like veganism's the reason why you're with me, or no. I got other redeeming qualities.
Yes, he does.